Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast, Stop the Internet Podcast. I'm Kelee.
I'm Rebes.
Should I change the intro? Like, is that, like, stupid now?
Rebecca.
No, I didn't mean you. I meant my
No, I'm
intro.
correcting my own.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I said that.
It was a joke. Yeah.
I said that.
I liked it, though.
Cheers.
Cheers. We have herbal tea.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, but seriously, should I change the intro? I kind of like started that in the beginning just because I thought it was like funny because we had 0 subscribers.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's your favorite podcast. And now I'm like,
I kind of like it.
Do you? Okay.
What else would we say though?
Hi guys, welcome to our podcast. So basically the same exact thing, just minus the favorite. Maybe I'll just like make it the branding and make the Instagram bio your favorite podcast.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I like that better.
Wait, let me change it right now.
Or like not even having a consistent intro, just random.
Hey guys. Also,
howdy.
Like, do the people know our names? Like, I don't know.
Maybe we just assume no.
I feel like we have to assume no.
And then in the, like you do it already, but in the description you put like today, Trisha and Rebecca.
Yeah.
Or
true.
It would never be Trisha.
It could. You never know. Today, we're going to talk about dating apps. And I actually am excited about this because I haven't used dating apps aside from like 2 weeks one time because I have an irrational fear of dating apps. So I feel like I have absolutely no knowledge and then you use them and don't have an irrational fear. So I feel like we have like opposite perspectives here.
Yeah. I should have more fear.
No, I feel like it is irrational. Like, I dwell on all the horror stories when like there's way more good things, or like not good things, but just neutral things. Like maybe maybe the guy you matched with wasn't your husband, but it doesn't mean he's a terrible person.
That's most of my experience.
Yeah. I just feel like I dwell too much on the like, oh, this person turned out to be terrible and like worst person I ever met, red flags, like did all this crazy mean things to me. And I'm like, oh, that's so scary. I am terrified of that. And I remember you said, but it doesn't matter where you meet someone, like whether it's on a dating app or in real life or friend of friend, like it doesn't matter. You actually still don't know the person.
Yeah.
So why is it any different? And I like that idea.
I have said that and I do agree.
Yeah.
A friend of a friend could be a serial killer too.
Shit.
You don't know.
You really don't.
Because if you think about it, a lot of these people you meet in real life are also on the apps. So who's to say they're any better, I guess?
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
I've met crazies in all areas.
Yeah.
Moral of the story.
I do just feel like there's a lot to say.
I think there's just a lot to say about dating culture.
Yes. I love talking about dating.
Yeah.
I just love it. I just eat it up.
I agree with the horror story thing. I find myself in these Facebook groups on TikTok. Like, I hear these stories and I'm like, God, like that could be me. And I'm so glad it's not.
Yeah.
But like, there's wild stories out there, you guys.
Yeah.
You can't be too careful.
But then I also feel like every other person I know, I'm like, how did you meet? And it's on a dating app.
And they're totally normal.
They're totally normal.
I know.
And then I think about like my friends are on dating apps.
Yeah.
And they're not weird.
Yeah.
They're very normal.
Mm-hmm. I think, what was I just going to say now? The sleepy time tea is getting to my brain.
It's very late right now. We're recording a late night session.
It's been a minute since we've done that. Should we go to after?
Rebecca's obsessed with this diner nearby. I love it too, but it's so funny how often you bring it up. I love it.
I bring it up like, well, I guess you've only started going there.
Yeah, wait. I'm like, she's so obsessed with it. We've been, not exaggerating, 2 times.
However, I do bring it up every time I see you now.
Yeah, true. But I love it. I love it.
Do you guys go to a diner and do the salad bar?
The salad bar at a diner is like otherworldly.
And the pudding.
The pudding, like you do not want to be going up to the salad bar after me. I'll tell you that. I clear out the pudding and I have no shame in doing it. And I'll do it again. and I do it 5 times in a row.
It's just
and
so
they keep
funny.
refilling.
It's such like a retiree thing to do. Like a salad bar at a diner is so like in a good way, but like elderly person.
Except it's not just elderly people, because the last time we were there, I bumped into my best friend's dad. Where? At the salad bar.
And the time before that,
I bumped into my I won't say friend, we like, because I haven't spoken to him since high school, but in high school we were friendly, and I bumped into him where? At the salad bar. So, you know what? Wait, I didn't even think about that. We're 2 for 2 at this point.
Maybe that's where I should look for love.
Look for love at the salad bar.
3 for 3.
Yes.
There you go.
I love it.
That is so funny. I didn't even think about that. Well,
that would be so funny if you were like, where did you meet your boyfriend? And I was like, at the salad bar at the diner. That would be so cute.
That would be kind of cute.
Wow. Anyway.
We love it.
Should we start talking about the things?
All the things.
Okay. Our first topic is not a story, it's just a question. Are you ashamed of saying that you met someone on a dating app? We cannot say from personal experience, but I will say the thought of it, I think that people are so tied to the story about how they met when it actually doesn't matter at all.
And I see a lot of these prompts on Hinge where guys, one of the prompts is like, I'm trying to think because they're always like worded slightly different, but one is like, oh, I'll fall for you if, and then his prompt will say, you lie about how we met.
Right.
And I'm like, I just like that gives me the ick. More than saying we met on Hinge. Like at this point, I'm like, okay, you're just like, we're all in on the bit.
Right.
So just who cares?
It is really weird too, because like back in the day, people would just like meet someone in their hometown because that was the only way they could connect with people. And then I'm gonna like just highlight the negatives of that. Obviously, it could work out perfectly for many people, but the negatives of that is like you just get married to this person when you've only met 100 people in your life. Like, what are the odds that your soulmate and the person you're most compatible with on this earth also lives in your hometown? Like, I just feel like that's such a small percentage of healthy relationships.
Yeah.
And then people just would like fear divorce and not get divorced and be in these like toxic marriages. I'm speaking from like people that I've met.
Yeah, but I think that's a good point.
Yeah, and now we have the internet to connect us with people from all over the place. Mm-hmm. And why are we ashamed of that?
Wow. Yes.
No, but there is such a stigma, and I feel like I would probably feel it too.
Yeah, I felt it at first, and now I'm kind of over it. Because like I said earlier, no jokes, like I've met crazy people at bars and on apps. So what difference does it make who someone turns out to be, I guess?
Yeah.
Because everyone's everywhere all at once.
Also, I think people are so obsessed with the story about how they met. And I heard this quote that was like, your relationship doesn't care about how you met.
Oh,
that's so true. Because like if you had this really exciting meet cute where you bumped into somebody at a bar and like looked into each other's eyes and you're like, oh my God, I knew. It's like, first of all, no, you didn't. Yeah. Because I've said that about how many people, and look at me now.
Right.
I don't know what they're doing tonight.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
They're at the diner.
Wait, that's a whole, yeah, they're probably at the salad bar. I like run to the salad bar. No. Sorry.
Squeak.
Wait, why am I squeaking? What's happening?
It's the tea.
It probably is.
Oh, God.
Anyway, I just have so many thoughts about that. Like, there are so many people that say that they meet in these cute ways and they're like, the moment I saw him, I knew, or like, when you know about like their first boyfriend and their first love. And it's like, we've all said that. We have all said when you know, and I was wrong every single time.
Yeah.
So when you know, it's like we all say that. And some of us, like, that does happen to be your life path. But I don't think you know. And I'm not talking about like once you meet and start dating and you're like, wow, yes. I mean, like, upon first meeting them, like the first time you meet them, being like, I knew he was my soulmate, love at first sight. You can have interest at first sight and love the idea of them at first sight, but come on. Nobody knows when they know the first second that they look into somebody's eyes.
No, totally. And like, I love the idea to really zoom out here, that to think there's only one person on this entire earth that is your, like, I just don't believe in that. Like, yeah. I think there's probably someone in every state that you're compatible with, every county.
Yeah.
You know, but like, you're not out. It's impossible to meet every single person. But within your limits, I guess, yeah, I believe in soulmates of like what's reality.
That's interesting.
But I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, well, what if I moved to Paris? Like, I don't know.
I find like that's a really weird discussion because I want to believe in it and I am very spiritual and I do think that our lives are like meant to be. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's delusion and it's just like me looking back at my life and like connecting dots and being like, oh, well, if I didn't do that, I didn't do that. But then at the same time, it's like in a parallel universe, if I chose the opposite, I would have had this like path and I would have met someone else that I also thought was my soulmate. But like there's a reason why I chose A instead of B and it led me down this path to this person, or I don't know. I like the idea of it.
Me too.
I think realistically though, it is crazy to be like, yeah, you're the only person. So I don't think it's that, I don't know, this is me being like very spiritual and like religious, but like I think rationally, yes, there is more than one person that if you met them, you guys could build a life together that you both enjoy and you can be so happy and love each other. But I just like the idea that like God and the universe have like designed someone for me and like made our paths cross and like helped us in the decisions that led us eventually to be together.
Yeah, I do like that.
It's like kind of delusional if you are very realistic, but like I like the idea of it.
Me too. I feel like I'm a little more jaded with dating than other areas of my life because like the littlest thing will happen at my job or just like with my career and I'll be like, this is God's plan, like this is a sign. And then with dating, like I'm sure, you know, if we're gonna continue on the religious path, I'm sure God has put many like great men in front of me and I will just be like, no.
Have you ever seen those TikToks where like someone's like pretending to be God and they're like, oh, she wanted a boyfriend, let's send her this, and then like the people are just like smacking them out and they're like, and then God's sitting there like, what the heck, we just gave you him, this is what you asked for.
That's hilarious and also relatable.
I know. I love those TikToks where people are like pretending to be God.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Very sacrilegious. Sorry. I love False Gods.
It's all
anyway.
False God by Taylor Swift.
Slay.
Beep, 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 beep.
So bringing it back to the question, which was, would you be ashamed to say you met on a dating app? To be completely honest, it would just be a more exciting and entertaining story if like I dropped my scarf on the street and he picked it up behind me and then he's like, I'm gonna go grab a coffee, would you want to come? I would never say yes to that, so I know that's never gonna happen. But like that's a really exciting story.
That's actually a good point too.
Yeah, but like I guess at the same time it's like, okay, how many times do you get to explain how you met? Probably like the first time your friends meet your new partner, maybe on your wedding day.
Like it's so outdated. You're right. But also regarding the scarf thing, that's a good point in how you were saying you wouldn't do that. I would run. I'd be like, oh, he's trying to steal my purse.
Oh, yes, I would.
He's trying to abduct me.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not going with you.
I spend so much time on Reddit and like the dating advice threads, but I saw this one post that was like how to meet people in real life, and I actually do want to talk about that because my one guy friend is trying to find love and he's just like experimenting with all these different ways, And he was recently talking about like, how do you talk to women at a bar or like in a public space? Because I don't want to be like creepy and I don't want to give them the wrong message, but like I do want to shoot my shot if I find someone attractive and I want to see if like we have good conversation. And I was thinking a lot about that and like the line between I don't want to talk to you and like, oh yeah, let's continue talking and now I'm interested in you. I do think a lot of it comes with attraction at a first glance. Like if you're attracted to this person, you're not going to find them creepy. And if you're not attracted, there's a better chance that you're going to find them annoying or creepy.
Right.
Which is sad. But I don't know. I think there is ways to do it.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, because we were talking about like someone approaching you on the street and like being creepy. In a Reddit thread, I saw somebody was posting about talking to people at like a grocery store and when they were in line. I was like, I would never in my life have more than like a, oh yeah, like I love that cereal too, haha, have a nice day, and run to my car.
I've heard the grocery store thing and I'm gonna say it's a no from me, dog.
No, I would never.
Because when I go to the grocery store, I'm like laser focused. AirPods in, podcast blasting, playlist blasting. I look a mess. How are people going to grocery store? Are they going with like full makeup and hair and an outfit? Like I go in my workout clothes 99% of the time.
I guess your true love wouldn't care what you're wearing, but I just still think it's like weird.
And it's also like, okay, if someone comments on your basket, they were just like creeping on your basket. I don't like that.
I think the person's advice was like, when you're in line behind someone, do like something where you make like a little comment, nothing about them, just maybe about like what they're buying or something in the store, and see how they respond to it. And if they respond with like good conversation, then maybe you say something else.
Okay.
But like, how often is that happening?
The line moves so fast.
Also, like, some people just like talking. Some people just like conversations. Like, why would that mean that I am like emotionally invested in this conversation?
Yeah.
Just because I'm trying to be nice. And it's like, oh yeah, I actually do love that food. Like, I don't know. Some people just like talking.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't think, I think it's a fine line talking to people in public.
And I really struggle with like, not eye contact in general, but okay, this happened to me actually like a couple days ago. I was at a Barnes & Noble and I was genuinely looking for a book and could not find my way. So at first I was downstairs in the news section and this guy was like, he was honestly pretty cute and he was dressed really well. And I like felt him look at me, but I'm like, is my move to then look at him back? Because I couldn't find my book. So then I went upstairs and it was like the self-help section.
He just follows you there and he sees you looking at how to find love. Oh!
I turned the corner to the other section of the self-helps. I don't know. That's not funny.
You were running away from him.
And he was there. And
God's in heaven. Like, what the frick? This is literally what you've been asking me for.
Like a man in a bookstore, kinda.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait, does he want to work on himself too? And then he answers the phone and I think it was his wife. And I couldn't peep the finger. But based on conversation and the way he hung up, which was like, love you. I mean, I guess it could have been his mom, but he was like kind of older, like 30s. So I'm like, I don't know. And then I just was like, this is it for me. But I just knew he was like staring at me and like I felt like he followed me up there. But I'm like, I don't know, maybe that's delusional. But I'm like, am I supposed to like smile? Like,
I feel like if you want to, I do feel like eye contact is a huge part of date. Like, because I feel like if someone's avoiding all eye contact with you when you've looked at them 3 times, I think you can take that as like they probably don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, or I'm just awkward AF.
True. It's hard to meet people though. It really is.
It was like so quiet and like, I don't know. I felt weird about the kind of book I was getting. It's nothing crazy, but I was just like...
It's like smut.
No. I was like, wait, like, don't like watch me pick out my book right now.
I think the one thing dating apps have going for them is that for the most part, if people are honest on their profile, you know what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. So it's like you don't have to go into a public space and just guess if all of these people are single, if they're interested in women, if they're interested in you.
Yeah.
Like you just
That's
no
a good
on a
point.
dating app if people are honest.
Well, that's a whole other thing. I've been, again, in the Facebook groups reading all these things of how men will put like, because on Hinge you can put looking for long-term relationship now, short-term, whatever it is. And girls like, it's just so sad how they're like, you know, why are men like putting that they want this, and then, you know, we go out and then I find out he wasn't, he ghosts me, blah blah blah. Like, that is crushing. So men are lying.
I mean, the culture is very
and women
difficult.
too.
Yeah,
I'm sure
it's very difficult. I think
everyone's a liar.
I mean, that's true
until proven otherwise.
You kind of do have to live your life like that to a certain extent when you're meeting strangers.
Yeah,
I think that was all my thoughts at first.
Yeah, that was a fun tangent though.
Yeah, should we move along to another topic?
And if you're a bookstore boy,
but only if you're not married.
Yeah, only if you were actually talking to your mom.
When did you delete dating apps? On my first date, he saw my notifications and was turned off. This is my first time using dating apps. I'm a 26-year-old female. I matched with a guy, 29-year-old male, on Bumble almost a week ago. We were texting 24/7 for the past 5 days and went on a date last night. It was awesome. I'm really into him. We sat and talked for hours to the point where he asked me what time it was, and when I pulled out my phone to check, 4 hours had gone by. Aw. He paid the bill, which I thought was a good sign, and I fully anticipated a kiss, maybe some... I'm dead. Maybe some light groping in the parking lot. But on the walk back to our cars, he said that he saw all the notifications on my phone and is struggling with all of the dating app notifications that were there. He said he couldn't believe how much attention I had gotten in the 4 hours I wasn't on my phone. I was kind of shocked because isn't that the point of dating apps? You might date a few people until you really click with someone. I didn't know what to say, so I just said something like, well, that's why we're here tonight. He said he knows that it's his problem, but he is bothered by it. I tried to make sure we ended on a good note, so I just said that if he keeps being good to me, I'll get rid of them. He said he would do the same, but I texted him first this morning and he hasn't answered. I have another date this week with another man, but I feel weird now. I know that I'm not doing this wrong because my friends who use apps have been on dates with different people throughout the week. Plus, he is on 2 apps, so why does it matter if I'm on there? I feel like there's so many reasons why this could be happening. We are here for the same thing. We talked about our next date during our dinner date, and despite the weirdness, I do want to go out with him again, but now I feel like I have to turn off the notifications on my phone to hide them, which feels like lying. I don't know. My brain is all scrambled. When do you get rid of dating apps? What is the timeline for this? If we have a great second date, should I stop using them? Do you have discussions about each other's usage of dating apps on first/second dates?
No, do not delete it.
What? No, this man is crazy.
If you're already teaching him how to be on the first date, that's a bad sign.
True.
You should not already... No teachable... I'm not teaching anyone anything anymore. I'm out.
That's such a good point. No, that's so weird. I feel like it could be one of two things. One is well, maybe more than two, but the first two that come to mind. One is maybe he's just delusional and he started really, really liking her. And in his mind, he was spiraling and telling himself a story that wasn't true. And he's like, oh my God, this might be my soulmate. Time is flying by. I really love this person. I feel like we're on the exact same page. And maybe he just uses dating apps at a slower pace than you, and he doesn't care to make like a ton of connections. So he uses it for like 5 minutes a day when like all these other men that are swiping on you use it for like 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't understand that. So he might have only scheduled one date in this whole month. And so he thinks this is like meant to be and so perfect. And then when he saw that you were still using dating apps, his delusional thoughts like were taken down to the ground. And he was like, oh, wait, my delusions aren't real. My thoughts that I'm telling myself in my mind based on absolutely nothing isn't the truth.
Yeah.
And so he's sad about it. He's reflecting that onto you and making it seem like it's your fault.
Yes, exactly.
The other option could be that he is living in a double standard and he can do whatever he wants and go on as many dates and as many dating apps as he can. But since you're a woman, he wants you to only care about him and he feels insecure.
I think it's honestly all of the above.
Yeah, maybe.
Like there's a good chance it's all of them, or at least that he's feeling insecure. And the first thing you said, which I'm blanking now.
The delusional story he told himself about them being meant to be.
Exactly. Because I think that could be true. Like maybe it was his like big date for the month and, you know, she has dates lined up as you should. And also what she said was so right in the beginning when she was like, well, that's why we're here tonight. Like you were a notification 2 days ago.
Yeah. on frickin' Johnny's date. He saw your name pop up.
That's the nature of the apps. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
So true.
Yeah, I feel that. And when I'm actively dating, I do have quite a few dates in a week. Like, it's totally normal.
Yes. I do think that it's insecurity. I have two thoughts. I say that because I don't want to forget them.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first is I do feel like it could be insecurity because if I was on a date and I was really, really clicking with a guy, and then let's say like maybe I've been looking for love for like a year and I hadn't clicked with anyone, and I'm like, damn, like every other guy that I like, they choose another girl over me. I think we had a good connection and then they ghost me, whatever. And then I'm like, wait, maybe this one's different. Like, this guy is so amazing. Like, I feel like we just had the greatest date. And then you see all these other notifications and you're like, cool, he has so many fucking options. And why the hell would he choose me? So I do see how it could turn you off and just almost just make you sad and just make you doubt yourself. Not that I think you should live and actually act on those thoughts and not text the person back when they're giving you the attention that you wanted, but I could see that it could be coming from there. Another just idea that annoys me within like dating is when you meet someone for the first time and then you ask them like, oh, do you talk to other girls? Or like, you know, how many girls do you say these little sweet nothings to? And they're like, no, I only talk to you. Like, there's nobody else. I'm like, you don't owe me shit.
Yeah.
You can talk to 47 other girls every single night. I don't care. Like, or maybe not even that I don't care. You don't have to lie to me. Like, we don't know each other. We just met. And like, yeah, maybe if we have a connection, that's great. But like, at this point, you don't owe me shit. So it would actually be kinder and more mature of you to tell me the truth and be like, oh, you know what? Like, I have been dating around and I am talking to a few other girls and going on dates casually, but I'm having fun getting to know you. Wouldn't that have so much more depth to it than just like, no, like, you're the only one I'm talking to? I'm like, really? You're not the only one I'm talking to.
Right.
I don't even know you. Like, why are people so scared to tell people the truth when you don't know each other? Unless you have a label on it or you said, yes, let's exclusively date each other and go from there. Like, you don't owe me shit and I don't owe you shit.
Exactly. And that's you reach that point quite more than a few dates in.
Right.
Like, we shouldn't be, like, it's weird to me when men are so available, I guess.
It's not weird to me when they're available, but I now, because I like had that situation in the past, I would now be like, but really though, like if someone told me they weren't talking to anyone else, I'd be like, oh really? Like, when's the last time you talked to someone and why did it end? Yeah. Because if you're like on the apps looking for love, what are the odds that you've been on the apps and you just haven't dated or talked to one person for like an extended period of time? Right. So why can't you just say, yes, I talk to people casually on the apps? Or like, yes, I go on dates casually. Like, why is that so hard to admit? I don't know. I feel like it's because they want, I mean, maybe it's like a version of like love bombing, or they like don't want you to take it in the wrong way and be like, oh no, like, don't worry. Like, you can still give me your attention because you're the only person I'm giving attention to. Like, it's fine. Like, when you're casually dating, you have enough attention to give to multiple people.
Exactly. It's not that deep.
Right.
Yet.
Yes. Yet.
Like, can we all acknowledge it?
Apparently you can.
People are so... I agree with the love bombing thing. I'm very wary of it. Like, I don't know.
I know.
People are weird.
People are so weird.
Oh.
So what was the question? No, I feel like we did it. I feel like that was good.
We did it.
Yeah.
Checkmate.
Cool. So, no, he is insecure or he's manipulating you. One of the two.
Correct.
I feel like that always comes down to that.
It does.
When it's a question about a man, it's either he's insecure or manipulative.
Gaslighter.
My girlfriend still has dating apps installed after months of dating. How do I approach this?
End
it? Yeah.
Okay, at least it's months and not years.
True. And maybe she just
Silver
forgot.
Lining.
I don't know. Pretty much what the title says. She was on her phone and I saw the dating apps still installed as she was looking through her folders. I didn't say anything upon seeing them, so she doesn't know I saw them. I assumed it must have slipped her mind to delete them, as we have been friends with benefits for a while before dating and both occasionally use dating apps during this time. But after transitioning into an actual solid relationship a few months ago, I deleted all of my dating accounts, and I assumed she would have too, as we did discuss this during our friends with benefits stage. Also, we actually met on one of these apps. She mentioned before she barely used them even when she was single / in a friends with benefits with me, but I know for a fact she was on multiple apps before. I am not too worried about her having cheated on me physically as we see each other a lot and keep in touch daily, but I am worried she may be chatting to other people. I want to confront the situation, but I don't really know how. Any help would be appreciated. I feel like this is so simple.
I agree. Like, ask her about it.
Yeah.
Confront it. Be like, hey, I saw this on your phone. Like, what's up? Miley, what's good?
Or just literally be like, by the way, I just want you to know that when we started dating, I did delete all my dating apps. Did you delete all of yours? Or like, I noticed that there was, well, I guess, yeah, he shouldn't ask because he saw them, but he should just be like, by the way, I want you to know I deleted all of the dating apps because obviously we're in a relationship now. I think I saw that you still have a few. I would appreciate if you deleted them, or is there a reason why you haven't yet?
Write it down. Bring it to the table.
Why can't you talk to your girl? Why can't you ask her a question?
This is what it boils down to a lot of the times with these stories. Like, why?
Yes.
How are you in a full-blown relationship and you can't ask the simplest of questions?
Yeah. I feel like people are like scared to communicate.
Yeah.
Like, how do I go about it? My girlfriend has dating apps on her phone. It's like, okay, you just started dating. She was on dating apps. Just say it. Say exactly that. Literally read what you just wrote on Reddit to her.
Yes. Rinse and repeat.
Also, if people get mad at you because you communicate with them and tell them how you truly feel, that person's not your person. I feel like I used to be so scared to like tell someone how I felt in like risking losing them.
Yeah.
When like, if telling someone your honest thoughts is going to make them run away, bye. Like, they're doing you a favor. Why would you want to have someone in your life that you can't tell the truth about your feelings to?
Right.
Or they're going to leave you. So you have to lie in order to maintain this person in your life.
Right.
Why is that a relationship that you really want that badly? And I'm asking my younger self this.
I know. Facts.
Or like getting to the point where you're like, I don't want to date this person if they're still dating other people. Or like the fact that they're dating other girls makes me sad. But like, oh, we're scared to talk about that because what if they then leave me? Okay. What if?
Then they leave you.
Yeah.
I guess it's easier said than done, though.
It's so much easier said than done.
But
I'm like saying it to myself. I'm like, why? Like,
in hindsight, it's always easier.
You're right. Hindsight is 2020.
But in the moment,
true.
it's like you're so obsessed with that person.
Yes.
But yeah, if she has the apps and I don't know, if she's not honest about it.
True.
Then you gotta leave.
It also could be a thing where if they're in folders and she doesn't really use them anyway, like maybe she just doesn't even know that they're there.
See, I don't love that though, because I feel like I've heard stories like this before where it's like, oh, I forgot it was in a folder. I'm like, okay, so are like 90% of my apps. You think I'm not checking them every day? Because they're in a folder.
Okay, but then the way that you're saying it though, it would be a lie.
Yeah.
Like it's possible that she actually didn't. I don't know.
So?
I broke my phone and I had so many apps and I didn't back up my phone on iCloud, so I had to replace them. I have half as many as I had before and I don't even remember the apps I had. Like when I got my new phone, I was trying to go through the app store and download all the apps I had. I used to have like 4 pages of apps and I now have 2. Yeah, they're not full. Okay. I don't even know what apps are on my phone. I do think it's a little bit different with dating apps.
Yeah.
But maybe she's just so caught up in the love she has for you that she just forgot that they existed.
I forgot that they existed.
I don't know.
No, I agree.
Or maybe she's shady. Who knows?
Could it go either way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to her.
Sorry.
Say one sentence to her. It's not that hard. Sorry. I'm like shaming them.
Ask one question to your girlfriend.
Yeah.
You people.
You're so freaking dumb. What are guys doing wrong on dating apps? Ladies, I'm really curious about your experience with online dating on apps like Tinder and Hinge. What are most guys doing wrong, and what do you find to be the most challenging aspect of using a dating app?
I feel like they're doing a lot of things wrong.
Where to begin?
I've only ever had Hinge, so I can only speak for Hinge. One thing, and none of this is groundbreaking, by the way, but it's still a problem, is like the pen pal thing of like, oh, we're gonna talk back and forth for weeks and no mention of a date.
Right.
I stopped doing this a while ago where I just stopped responding. Like, I'm unmatching you after, I don't even know how long I would give it. I guess it depends. But a few messages and we're not planning a date, like, bye.
Yeah.
Like, why are we here?
That's so fair.
I don't need your life story. I don't even want to get into like hobbies or work. Like maybe bare bones just to like make small talk. But then you gotta ask me out. Okay. And so I always appreciate, like, I've literally been on dates where it's like, hi, you free tomorrow? Yes. Excellent. Mm-hmm. Like that's how it should be, in my opinion.
Okay.
In my opinion. I just think if we're trying to like eliminate the whole like online thing, okay, then stop talking online. Like move it in person as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I feel like the one like defense that comes to my mind is like, what if though in the texting back and forth you find like that one thing where you're like, well, yeah, I wouldn't date someone that does that or that doesn't do that. Like if something is like a non-negotiable to you and you're like, hey, by the way, do you like, what if you were sober and you were like, well, I mean, that's a bad example because that's extremely...
No, that's a good example.
But it's like, that's extremely easy to find out over
I was going to say,
text.
like, not even over text. A lot of the non-negotiables are on your profile.
True. That's true, too.
And
okay.
I would say I think if it's something you feel strongly about, you put it on yours. And, like, true. I assume vice versa.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's true.
But some are very barren profiles. I feel like mine isn't even that, like, fleshed out either. I should change that, maybe. I don't know. I don't even care anymore.
It is hard to like do the texting thing because there are people that in person I'm like, I love you, adore you, you're perfect. The texting, I'm like, thank God we didn't meet over a dating app because you're the most awkward weirdo texter and I'm rooting for you and I still think that.
I was rooting for you.
I've never yelled at a girl like this. Never in my life have I yelled at a girl like this.
That is me to men. I agree. Like the texting.
My one experience I had on a dating app, I remember there was one thing. Okay, I think it's just like the intensity of the jokes. And there was one guy that I matched with and he said something. Just the first thing he said to me was a sexual joke. And I was like, I know that's not a joke. That's just who you truly are.
Yeah,
like, just, I forget exactly what it was, but I was like, goodbye. And then the one other thing, this guy seemed like nice, like normal. And I was, one, scared of dating apps, and two, didn't care that much. Like, I wasn't like dying to meet someone. So I took a long time to respond to this person.
I do too.
And he was like, Kelee, like you're leaving me on red. Like I need to know the answer to the question that I just asked you. Like literally said that, something like that. And then was like, if you don't answer me, like, I forget, I said something. And he was like, well, there's two options. Like one is we meet up and go on a date. And the other is... Oh, no. I forget exactly. It wasn't even that. But the second option was like, I'm so sorry.
Say it.
I flee the city.
Wait, what?
I flee the city and change my name.
That's actually pretty funny.
I flee the city and change my name, like delete all my social media accounts. And you never hear from me again.
That's actually really funny.
Wait, now that I'm saying it, sorry, I'm literally crying.
No, it's funny.
Now that I'm saying that, oh my God, I'm literally tearing up. That does sound funny. I think it was just like after all the other texts, there was no reason he should have said that.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't know if I can handle your humor at this point.
No, that's so... That almost would have been funnier as like an opener.
Yes.
Like...
I think it was like after the like, hey, like, what's up? How are you doing? Like,
God,
please answer me. I need to know. And then it was like, if you leave me on red, maybe that's what he said. He said like, if you leave me on red, I'll have to like flee the city. And then went on the whole rant.
This is an issue too with apps. It's sorry. That was funny.
Now I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's up to. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, go on.
Like some people I really think are like this all day.
Yeah.
Do you not have a job? I don't understand the instantaneous responses that are required. Yeah. I've had men unmatch me and I just know it's because I wasn't like, it's like 12:01 and if I don't message them back by 12:03, unmatch. Mm-hmm. It's like, what? Like, you You guys, I can't with like, I can't.
I feel like those are the people that probably just want something from you.
Yeah.
And it's not genuine human connection.
It's just people who have no freaking lives.
True. Do you have anything else or should we continue on?
Let's keep going.
Okay.
Case closed.
How would you reply to this? I met a girl on a dating app. She keeps pushing for me to take her on a date, so I finally agreed, and then she sent me this after our phone call. Hello. It was nice talking to you. For tomorrow's date, I need to make sure you are a gentleman and know how to treat a lady. Before we confirm time and restaurant, please send me greeting flowers to my clinic. I'll give you the address. I love yellow roses. How do you feel about her setting this all up?
Is that for real though?
I mean, he replied to comments being like, reply, I'm thinking more of a block.
Yeah.
And they said, same. In what world is this girl on the wildest thing that she's dead serious?
This is where, like, I know I'm really coming hard for men. It's only because, you know, that's who I date. But it really goes both ways.
Yes.
Like, on both ends, like, there are people that are, like, freaking wildin' out here on these streets.
Did you hear the whole fiasco about the girl that refused to go to the Cheesecake Factory?
Yes.
And she's
I
like,
did.
you don't take a girl like me to the Cheesecake Factory. Like, who do you think you are? She's like, this is a chain restaurant. I can't go in there like this. She's just like wearing like a normal outfit. Didn't look like that crazy.
She's not wearing Miu Miu, please.
Even if she was.
Yeah.
I have now been to the Cheesecake Factory twice, and I must say, one was for takeout, but
yeah,
it counts. It was baller. It was so good.
Ambiance is great.
Yes. Oh my God. The one in Center City? Find me there any day of the week.
Yep. Facts. I will say I wouldn't love going there on a first date. That's just my preference. Yeah. I don't really love a dinner anyway for dating. Mm-hmm. Like the first few, I'm just like, maybe that's my own thing. You guys don't listen to me.
I see what you're saying about the people asking for too much, because I even have like mixed feelings about the guy paying for the girl. I hear my friend who's a guy talking about these dates, and a lot of times, and I feel like you've said this too, sometimes like within the first 5 minutes, you know that you're not like romantically interested in this person.
Yes,
and it's just a vibe. Then you're stuck there. So my friend's like, there are certain times where in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, we're just not gonna be it. You're very nice. You're beautiful, like you're great, we're not gonna date. But then you're stuck there and he now has to pay $75 for this like meal that they're having. And is that fair? Like, is that fair for guys? So I feel like I think about it from like I have a double standard, because if I went out on a date with a guy and he was like, oh, would you want to split it? I would be like, yeah, I'm fine with that, but I would take note of it. And I'd be like, a little bit weird.
Absolutely, yeah.
But then at the same time, when my friend does it, I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have to pay for that, like all the time. But then at the same time, I'm like, maybe you should have, but like, why should you? Just because that's what like society says? Like, I don't know. That's a hard line though.
I think a lot of times though, it's the guy asking out the girl.
True. Okay, this is a good point.
In which case, sorry. Mm-hmm.
No, true. And if a girl asks out a guy, do you think she should pay?
No.
So that's not the reason. Okay.
I don't know. I've never done it. And I won't. Just kidding. I'm in my late night mood, you guys. Anything goes with a gavel. Kelly's like, get serious.
No, I really want to think about this, because I knew a guy who was like a friend of a friend that didn't pay for first dates, and he was like someone that prides himself on making a lot of money. And he would walk around and be like, yeah, I don't pay for first dates, like we split it. And all his friends were like, what? Like, why is that the hill you're dying on? Like, nobody's gonna want to go on a second date with you.
Right.
Which I do feel like, if like, I don't know, it's really, really hard.
Can I be honest? I've only ever been on a date where I've split the bill.
What do you mean?
I've always just been paid for.
Oh, yeah.
And the one time it happened to me, I think about it a lot because of how angry it made me.
I remember that whole story. That guy was crazy.
I feel like I told it on the podcast before.
Did you? Yeah, I think I told it on the podcast for you. It was like, if you didn't listen, what?
Basically, this guy, we just had drink dates, and then the drinks were going well. He was a chef. Just gonna say that. And he was like, wait, are you like hungry? And I'm like, yeah, like I could go for food. It was a pretty early date. Like it started early and it was summer. So, you know, good vibes. And he was like, we should go to this place. Like, my friend is the head chef there and he'll give us like the hookup. And this place is a pretty expensive Philadelphia restaurant. It is not cheap. I was like, okay, well, if he said that he knows the chef and he's giving us the hookup, I'm not paying. That's what that means to me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was mad, is because at the end of this date, it was like literally $90 a person. And he was like, oh, like, do you care if we split it? And I'm like, I guess. But you like
$90
kind of
for a first date, I'd be furious.
And then don't be like acting like it's going to be a free meal too on top of that.
Yeah, because if anything, he should have been like, it's a little expensive. Like, before we go there, I just want you to know it is a little expensive. So if you're down for that still, we can go. And just almost like ask you, are you willing to go to this very expensive place? I feel like that's asking, are you willing to spend money there?
Right.
And you could have been, in that moment, you could have been like, I don't really feel like spending a ton of money tonight. I'd rather go somewhere more casual and spend less. And he, I feel like, could have made his decision from there. Because then he could have been like, oh, well, you know what? I really want to go. I'll just cover it for us.
Wait, and there's another part of the story that's actually just like adds to it. Where we were getting drinks was in one part of the city and the restaurant was like very far, like not walkable.
Yes.
But I asked him, sometimes I get these headaches, right? And I'm prone to them on dates just because, like, I don't know.
Stressful.
Kind of stressful, yeah. And I was like, wait, do you care? It was a really nice spring evening. I'm like, do you care if we start walking there? Keep in mind, this is like miles. And he was so nice. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, you're not feeling well, like fresh air. And then we're about halfway there. Honestly, it was like an hour later.
Shut up.
And we still were like halfway.
Oh my God.
And I think I suggested, okay, like we can hop in an Uber now. I was worried about getting sick in the Uber.
Oh, like car sick. Okay,
yeah.
Yes, got it.
But I was like, it's literally going to be like a 7-minute drive. So we might as well just like hop in the Uber. And he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, okay. And we're both just like standing there. And he's like, oh, like, do you mind getting the Uber? So I paid for this Uber. And I understand that maybe that's on me because I'm the one that made us. But it was just like, it was like odd, I guess. And then that on top, when you add it on top of the dinner, it was just like, oh, okay. So I just paid for this like whole date kind of.
Yeah.
It was just interesting. But I will say, like, okay, the Uber is on me. But again, with the whole story, it doesn't paint it in a great light overall.
No, that's so annoying. I would be so annoyed if someone said, oh, my friend's the chef, he'll hook us up.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, by the way, can you Venmo me $90?
Oh my God, it was so bad.
I would have been like, no, I wouldn't. I would have done it. See, that's the thing. But I wish I would have been like, or I wish you would have been like, oh, sorry, I can't afford it. I work in a creative field.
But also, it's like I went home that night. It was like a Wednesday. And between the Uber to the first place, the Uber to the dinner, and the Uber for me back to my apartment, I'm like, I spent like $120 tonight and I could have spent $0.
Yeah.
$0.
Also, he kept the leftovers.
Yes!
He said, can you Venmo me $90 and we'll split it evenly, but I'll take all the takeaway
Not
food.
even an ask of, can you tell I'm over it? Of like,
no, that's so annoying.
But it's honestly just, it stands out because I haven't been on many like bad dates. I'm very like lucky in that way, I guess. And that was a bad one. So it just like stands out in my mind because I'm like, oh, okay.
That's so annoying.
The way he was just like, and I'm taking this home.
Yeah, what? That's so annoying.
And he like made a comment about it. He's like, oh, like I'm set for lunch tomorrow. I'm like, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. You should have been like, oh, well, since you're taking the leftovers, why don't I pay $70 and you pay the rest?
Or how about you Venmo me back my half?
Yeah, Venmo me back my half. Or, oh, I only ate fries, so I'm only going to pay $14 instead of $90.
Oh, it was just such a funny one. It stands out to me.
Would have been so annoyed.
Yeah. I wish him well.
Right. So this girl that's asking for flowers, like, obviously, no.
That's very interesting to me.
I can't imagine being like, if you don't get me flowers, I'm not going to see you.
Yeah.
No, she's crazy. I would actually block
I would block
person.
her, unmatch her, all the things.
Yeah. Unmatched on Hinge after a good 10 days of conversation. Maybe this is the reason. Me, 30, and she was 29. We had a good thing going and a lot of quality conversations, including sexual preferences and sexting. We decided to go on a date next weekend as well. She was super quick in responding, had notifications on. Yesterday, I don't know what happened. I could sense a delay in her response, and also she snapped on me, so I did ask if there was something that I did. Her last message was, there is some issue, I think, and I was at a different place where there was no network, so I didn't respond back. In the morning, I see that she unmatched me, which sucked big time, and also unfollowed me on Instagram. So surprised with what happened, and a bit hurt also.
Aw. This is why I'm very anti, like, just in general, whether it's like on the initial app, when you move to text, or when you meet in person even. I'm very careful to not like form closeness with people over text, whether we've met or not, like especially when we haven't. But even if we have, it's like, I don't know, then I feel like you get in person and it can be a different vibe sometimes. Mm-hmm. But then it's like you almost have this parasocial relationship with someone because they're texting. Like your texting is so good, but then you could get in person and it's like, wait, this is like weird.
I had that happen to me before.
Yeah. So that's why I'm just very anti doing that, because I'm like, we can find out very easily in person if we're compatible.
Yeah.
Whereas over text, you can kind of be compatible with like anyone.
That happened to me before too, where this guy was like such a great texter. And I was like, oh my God, he's so funny and so nice. But he was asking me like all these questions over text when we were planning to go out in like 2 days. And I was like, what are we going to talk about at the date? Like we could just talk about all of this at the date. Mm-hmm. And I tried to like throw in a few, yeah, totally. Well, I'm so excited to see you tomorrow and like hope you're having a good night. And he would be like, oh my God, yeah, me too. By the way, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, like what are we going to talk about? And I feel like the conversation just didn't flow in person, because I'm like, well, you already know everything about me. And like, what do I even talk to you about now? Like that could have been a good hour. And like over texting, it's like you ask a question and you immediately answer it and it doesn't go anywhere else. Whereas in person, I feel like you ask the same question and it could go all these other places because conversation is so different than texting.
Yeah.
I think another thing about what you said and like not forming emotional connections is important, because you do have to remember that people aren't just dating you. They are still dating a lot of people, and like something so random could have happened and it has even could have nothing to do with you. Like maybe she had been talking to someone else for a while on the apps and then they had a great date and she's like, you know what? I want to put all of my effort into this other person.
Yeah.
That doesn't make anyone a bad person. And she also doesn't owe you an explanation.
Yeah.
Because you are strangers. That is hard. And I think something that's important in like all relationships, you don't really have to spend time trying to justify and reason with other people's actions and find purpose in the things that they do, because in reality, it has nothing to do with you. So you don't have to sit around and like wonder why this girl that you've never met unmatched you, because it kind of is irrelevant. You know you didn't do anything wrong. It's just not meant to be. It's the same thing when you like go on a date or like meet someone one time and then they're not interested in you. You don't have to like spend time reliving every single action that you made and like every conversation and being like, where did it go wrong? Like, what did I do? What happened? Probably nothing happened.
Yeah.
You just weren't meant to be and they didn't want to talk to you. It's really not that deep.
It's not. It's very simple, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you formed connection to them, and that's why it's so much harder to accept.
Yeah.
It's really hard to remember that sometimes other people's actions, like the reason for them, doesn't actually matter. It just matters that they did it.
Yeah. Damn. Yes. I saw a TikTok about this, or maybe it was a Twitter thing, but it was kind of like depressing, but I found like weird comfort in it, how like it's really hard for two people to meet who are at the exact right moment for themselves to want to pursue a relationship, like where the timing is like so right for both of you.
That is such a good point.
It's like kind of rare.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that's kind of why I like the Hinge feature of like, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
I don't actually have it on my profile, but I love it for other people. I should maybe add it. I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
But I just think like it's hard. This is like depressing though, but it is hard.
Yeah.
For both of you to be in the same place in your life where you're ready to commit. You find someone that you're attracted to, compatible with, emotionally on your level, and the timing's right. I don't know how half of you are in relationships. I think we're all lying.
No, I think multiple things are true. I totally agree with that. And that's why so many people are single. And it's like, oh, it's hard to meet someone. Yeah, that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Like, that's so true. And then I think on the flip side, that's why some people fall into unhealthy relationships because they are obsessed with this person and really like them, but something isn't right.
Yeah.
Like, someone is not ready. Someone doesn't feel the same way. Or maybe someone's just a shitty person. But this is also a reason why I think some people fall into toxic relationships.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, I'm ready for a relationship, so I'm going to accept any behavior that someone gives me.
Yeah.
Whereas in reality, you should be very picky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Facts.
It's tough.
Facts.
It's tough.
We are dating gurus tonight.
I know, we really are.
Wow.
Should we do one more?
Sure.
Tinder and dating app experience. Is it just me, 25 male, or if you match with pretty girls on Tinder, do they always seem to have barely a personality? It happens almost every day. I match with someone and we talk, and it's literally the most pointless conversations. For example, C's photo of her in a foreign place. Me. Is that a photo of you in Greece? Her. No, it's in Italy. Me. Looks incredible. What other places have you traveled to? Her. A lot of other countries. Me. You don't say. Anyone else deal with this? Anyone have any advice to wean out the beautiful girls without a personality?
Okay, it goes both ways, first of all.
True. Any signs to look out for?
Wait, this actually kind of happened to me last week. I was talking to this guy about like literally nothing. Oh, I think we were talking about pickles. And he just
That is not nothing.
He just like kept it going a little too far.
Oh, that's the worst.
But like I just could sense that he again was looking for a pen pal. Maybe he just gets bored and just wants to talk to women and doesn't want to go out with them. But what I said at the end was, wow, this convo is inspirational. And he never responded.
He didn't? That's so funny.
I'm like, someone's got to tell him.
I mean, yeah.
I was just like, I'm like, come on.
I remember a few years ago, there was a point where I met two people around the same time. And it was so funny because the one guy was such a good conversationalist and texter. And the other guy was like that, like so bland.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they both seem like great people, like in person. And like this other guy was like a friend of a friend. And I met him one time and I was like, wait, yeah, like he'd be so great. Like he's also single. Like they were trying to set us up. The conversation, like he was like that, did not let the joke go, like kept hammering and he was like, oh my God, I thought your joke about the dog was real. Like, oh my God, I thought you actually had a dog. And I'm like, oh no, ha ha ha. Like it was totally a joke. Like I was just, whatever. And he's like, no way. That is so funny. Like I totally believed you. Like I totally thought you had a dog. I'm like, how many times? I get it. What else can we talk about? Ask me to go out for a drink. Like what is wrong with you? Sorry. And then I stopped talking to him.
I don't understand too. It's really not hard. Like,
I think for some people it is,
but that's why it's why we're all here.
That's a good point.
Like,
no, I do think for some people it is harder, but like if you are interested, like just be real with yourself. Like you don't need to text someone all the time. If you're interested in dating them, what's like the first thing that probably has to happen if you want to start dating them? You go on a date with them. So ask them on a date. Like we don't need to go back and forth for 18 hours about
pickles.
A pickle. Like,
no, it was like a whole day.
But you know what? I do think sometimes people just don't know when to let a joke go.
Yeah.
And that's also one of my pet peeves.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's another thing that guy did.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like funny when you see the two like ends of the spectrum too. Yes. And then you meet someone that you can talk to and you're like, oh my God, I never have to worry about like what am I going to say next. And it's just like easy with this person.
Yeah, for sure.
I hate the thing where people don't let something go and you talk about like pointless shit. That's why I don't like texting.
Thank you.
Guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like we can just talk about all of this over drinks.
That's a good point too, because judging from his convo with her, it kind of just sounded like she wasn't interested in him.
Right, but why would they have matched?
But that's what I mean. Like I get that too, where I'm like, you just kind of sound like you're not like interested in having a conversation, but you liked me. Like you liked my photo. So like you do have to put in some effort on the apps. Like, it's a little interesting.
I have noticed that sometimes people will do something similar, whether it's in person or I'm sure over texting or apps, where they show absolutely no interest and then wonder why they're single, or they put in like absolutely no effort and then wonder why nobody asks them out.
Yeah.
You have to put in effort. You have to be willing to have a conversation with people. And if you want to go out to a bar and meet new people, you can't ignore every single person that comes up to you. Mm-hmm. And I think like I've noticed with people just over the years who would be interested in like wanting a relationship, but then any guy that showed interest in them, they're like, oh yeah, I just like, I don't know, I don't think he's attractive, or like, I don't know, he's weird. Like, no, he's not. Like, people are so judgmental and they're waiting for freaking Jacob Elordi and Liam Hemsworth to approach them. And if it's not fucking Jacob walking over to them, they don't give this guy the time of day. And it's like, first of all, look at you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That was fully a joke. No, but like,
it's kind of funny though.
You can't not give someone the time of day if you want to like practice. And then like people are like, oh, well, I'm just so bad at talking to people. Oh, and what are you doing to fix that? Ignoring people? Like, you can't have both.
No.
You can't ignore every single guy that comes up to you, but then also want a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then I feel like some people are like almost like pride themselves on the fact that they don't put effort in. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what do you want? Like a fucking prize? Like me and Trisha, I think, or me and Aaron, I don't even know. I've had this conversation. You're the third person I've had this conversation with.
Love it.
I don't know the order of the episode, so this might sound weird, but like, I feel like I've read so many stories recently where the guy's like, oh, you're so lucky. Like, I never do this. Or like, oh my God, I actually, like, you're lucky. Like, I never actually even meet up with these people. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, so I'm lucky because you are just so proud of yourself that you don't put any effort into relationships.
Yeah, what?
And because you live your life not being nice to people, not putting effort into relationships, not giving people the time of day, I now should be lucky that you did it one time in your whole life and it was for me. No, I would rather have someone that puts effort into all parts of their lives and is a nice person to everyone. Mm-hmm. And I'm just one of the people that you are a very nice person to.
Say it, sister.
Why? I don't want to be the only person you're nice to.
Yeah, what?
That is not a good quality to have.
No. People are... We all know people like that.
I know. It's annoying.
Want a boyfriend, want a girlfriend, and then at the bar on their phone.
Yes.
I'm
and
like,
then a guy comes up and they're like, oh yeah, ha ha ha. I'm like, why do we come here? Why do we come here?
And it's totally valid to not be into every single guy. Some are weird. Some you're not attracted to, but it's like, come on, girly.
I just feel like it's even like people that are so normal.
Yeah.
And like, just because it's not the hottest guy you've ever seen in your life, like, you're just going to like write it off and ignore it. Like, I'm like, I can't. How long do I feel bad for you at this point?
Totally.
I had a friend where it was like every guy was like not good enough. Mm-hmm. And then when someone else went for like the hot guy, it's like, then like when Jacob Elordi walks into the bar, it's like, oh, I have dibs. Like, no, you don't, please. And then you wonder why every one of your friends goes and like snatches him out from under you.
Right.
Like, it's not my problem that you don't put yourself out there.
Right.
And then like, these opportunities don't come to you, or the guy picks somebody else. It's like, that sucks, but like, what did you do to change it? Or, what did you do to try to talk to him?
Yeah. It's like always the girl who's just like the girl who says, oh, I have dibs on Liam Hemsworth.
Yup.
It's always the like, come on, guys. Like, I'm never into anyone. And I'm like, that's
what I
on
mean.
you, girly.
Yes. It's like you should give me what I want because I never do this. No, I shouldn't. Like, oh my God, this is like off topic, but I had a friend one time who literally never went out. I would ask her to hang out. I would ask her to go out. Like, oh my gosh, all our friends are going out. Meet me at the bar. Like anything. I would beg her to go out and hang out with me. And she said no every single time. And there was one day of the whole summer that she was like, hey, I'm out right now. Like, come out and meet me. And I was like, oh, you know what? I don't really feel like it tonight. Like, I'm just going to stay in. And she's like, come on, like, I never go out. Like, this is the one time I went out. Like, you're really going to stay in? I'm like, no, your argument is actually backwards.
Yeah.
Your argument is so wrong. You should be saying the opposite. You should be saying, oh, you go out all the time. So the least I could do is meet you out one time. So like, just because you don't have, like, you refuse to do anything fun, you refuse to put yourself out there, the one time that you do this, I have to then change my plans to meet up with you.
To work around your schedule.
Yeah, work around your schedule. No, you would think that because we're all the ones with businesses and you don't have a fucking business that you care about, you would work with our schedules. But you don't know what it takes to run a business.
Maybe if you had a business that you were passionate about.
But you don't. You're the least interesting to look at. Sorry, I just like totally changed. Internalized resentment.
You're the least interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Oh, searing.
Sorry. I just feel like there's so many parallels between friendship relationships and romantic relationships. So then like I talk about relationships and then I just start spiraling about like all these different types of relationships that are actually all kind of like the same thing.
Yeah.
But just have like a few key differences, aka like you don't have romantic interest in your friends.
Same situation.
And I will die on that hill because some people do and they think that they're friends and they're lying to themselves. I'm so sorry. Okay,
you always got to make that point.
Sorry. That's a whole... I just edited a different episode where we talked about that. So I was like on edge and then Rebecca came over and I was like...
Humana.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say?
Honestly, no. I think I gave all my dating app points.
Mm-hmm.
I went through the list, if you will.
Amazing. I have so many full episodes written about dating.
No, yeah, I have a lot to say about dating. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
This was a good like tip of the iceberg.
Yes, because it really was just a tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm. So follow along for more. Let us know all your dating advice, needs, questions, and we'll give our expert opinions.
Comment a cloud emoji.
Oh, yeah. Comment a cloud emoji on what? I have to start posting on Instagram.
Yeah. That can be incentive, though.
True. This is for both of us.
Oh, comment a snowflake emoji because I love winter.
Cute. Okay, perfect. I like something and things that smell like winter.
Oh, yeah. But
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about that in my monologue.
Song. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.